Parshas ויצא. לקוטי Sichos Chelik Aleph. Heintige Seder heupt sich on. This week's Seder starts with ויצא Yaakov Beersheva v'yelech Haran. And Yaakov left Beersheva and he went to the land of Haran. Das is Rashi sagt. This is what Rashi says as über der Zeitzählung von dem Sium von Verkehr Seder. The Rashi says, he tells over from them, seeing from Fartiker Seder, from the previous Seder. Und Torah is als deitlich. Everything in Torah is specific, exact, and accurate. Afilu von ein ewige ois, even from one additional letter. Learned men up ganze halachas. We learn out many halachas. Heint, mikol shekein a ganze inyan was es chazet sich iber etliche mal. How much more so some a ganze inyan matter that repeats itself several times. Is das gewiss an hayra l'doris. Is definitely a lesson for generations. For jeder Zeit, every time, and in jeder art, in every place, und euch for heintige Zeit, also for our time now. While the Torah is an ewige, because the Torah is everlasting. Und dem Nomen Beersheva, this name Beersheva, as the Torah says, Zeit, zwei Timing, two reasons. One, why is it called Beersheva? To leave them Shvua was is given by them Krisis Bris, because of the promise that they made when they made peace, was Avimelech had gemacht mit Avram, which Avimelech made with Avram. Number two, another reason why it's called Beersheva, to leave them Siebenten Beuren, was me hat gegraben noch ein Shalom mit Avimelech, the seventh well that they dug after peace was made with Avshalom. By that time in Weisen auf a Zustand von Ruhigkeit bei Eden. Both reasons for the name of Beersheva shows on the calmness or Ruhigkeit, the relaxes by Eden. V'yelech Haran, what does it mean? Der Inyan von Haran is lahepech. Wie Razal sagen, Haran Avshalmaken. Der Zorn from Welt. Going to Haran is the Inyan is the opposite of Kedusha. It's a Zorn from Welt. Is it where the Tzoris, the difficulties of the world or the bad things of the world. That's where Yaakov had to go. We ask a question. Der Ebish der hat uns gegeben Teure. The Ebish gave us Teure und Mitzvahs von sein fuller und breite Hand, from his wide and open hand. God gave us Teure from his wide and open hand. Womit geht sich nur a Kern, no matter where we look. Is schön voran an andere Mitzvah asay v'anfeya. There's another mitzvah or its offsprings. Oder man darf sich abbieten von einer von die Shasa mitzvahs lois asay v'anfeya, or one of the 365 mitzvahs that we what not to do, v'anfeya, or their offsprings. Hat doch gedarft l'chol ha'pachas arabnemen. He needed to at least take away the daigas von uns. At least the Eibusher should have taken away the daigas from us. Daigas of galos, the worry of galos, daigas of parnasa, daigas of getting money for the house. V'chulu. Kedei soll sein leichtig the kima mitzvah. Should be easier for us to do mitzvahs. No matter, man soll bechlal nicht haben zu tun mit den Yonim. Even what we shouldn't have to do with the Yonim Welt. When sein Mer bei oil shall Torah, we just sit in the oil of Torah and learn Torah all day. Like the Roiv der Tzeil the Torah on this, the Torah says, Dem Seder von Yaakov, the Seder of Yaakov. Thus meant, what was the order? Dem Seder von Yisrael b'ta'arasan, the Seder of the Yidden, the way it is in its purity. Wie sie seinen Schein abgeteilt, the way they already separated, loike Avram sheyatza meni Yishmael. Not the way Avram which came out of him, Yishmael. But like Yitzchak sheyatza meni Esav, not like Yitzchak which Esav came out of him. Nor ki Yaakov was mitase shleim, like Yaakov is his meat was his bed was complete. So that Either Yaakov had gedarft chasen haben, or Yaakov had to get married. Boyin dem Beis Yisrael, to build the house for the Yidden. Hat man ihm geheist a rausgehen von dem Beersheva. They told him go out of Beersheva. A weggehen von die Yeshiva und Sheva Neve. Go away from Yeshiva, from Sheva Neve. Und gehen kein Choron, go to Choron. Choron Afshamakim, like we said, the tzaras of the world. Eder hat gedarft aufstellen dem Am Yisrael, hat gekannt und gedarft sein in Beersheba. But if we're saying he had to establish the nation of Israel, the nation of the Yidden, he should have stayed in Beersheba. An art von Gilu Elikus, a place where godliness was revealed. Bemuchash, tangibly. When mitzvahs kommen on gering, mitzvahs were easy to do there. When aveyas kommen on schwer, aveyas was hard and difficult. Aber bichdei aufzubauen den Beis Yisrael, but in order to build a house by the Yidden, hat gedacht, reis gehen von Beersheba, need to leave Beersheba. Und kommen kein Charain and go to Charan. An art von Hellemas, a place where godliness is concealed, was Elikus is verborgen und behalten. It's covered over and concealed. Euch Olam, Welt, also Olam Welt, allein itself is Kishmoy, it's like its name. Lashon Helem, concealment. Umakal Shekain, nevertheless, Chara Nafshal Olam, went to Chara Nafshal Olam. So we're having a question, why, when it comes time for Yaakov to build a Jewish home, or to build a Jewish nation, why did he go from Beersheba to Charan, which is a place where all the tzaras of the world? Was dort is the Avedas, there's the Avedas, kommen an sehr gering, where it comes on easy, mitzvahs sind schwer, mitzvahs are difficult, und durch dem, was is by gestanden den Nisyonis, through this, that he stood through all the Nisyonis, all the tests, hat Beine gewinnt Beis Yisrael, he built a house for Yisrael, mitas Hashem, a house for Yidden, he built the nation of Yidden, and his bed was complete. Das is this is a lesson for every single Yid. Specifically through this that he has tests. When he sich misgaber and he conquers over them and he wins over them. Und steht sie bei and he stands through them. Boit a idische Haus, he builds a Jewish home. A lichtike Haus, a lit up house, and a warme Haus, and a warm house. Der Seidi in them darf sein. Wie der zählt weiter in Seder. The order needs to be like this, the way it says further on in the Seder. Pashas Yaakov is awake in Charan. Time when Yaakov went out to Charan, is the erste Zach was hat getan. The first thing that he did, Vayivka b'makim. First thing he did when he arrived to the place, gestellt sich daven, he stood to daven. L'choira, seemingly, as geht kein Charan gefinden sein Zivug. When he going to Charan to find his wife, hat die erste Sache gedacht, auslernen sich die Sprach. The first thing he needs to do is learn the language. In Hagim, the way they behave, from their Medina of that country. Oder sich in die Kleider or the clothes that they wear from the Medina of that country. V'chulu v'chulu. Yaakov hat abgelegt die alle Sachen. Yaakov had nevertheless put away all these things. Und was hat sich ausgegeben? What did he actually do? In Abayim Tefillah, he went to daven. Wie gesagt, free, like we said earlier, in the Sipur, with regards to the story with Yaakov, Azoi vi alle Sipurim von Torah, like all the stories in Torah, an Anweisung auf alle Torahs, it's a teaching for all generations. When einer geht bei einer Beis Yisrael, when somebody goes to build a house by the Yidden, can da trachten, he could think, Meile, bis der gesessen und gelernt Torah. Till now he was sitting and learning Torah. Und gewinnt in Tefillah und Mitzvahs, he was davening and doing mitzvahs. Aber jetzt, als geht raus in Welt, now that he's going out to the world, darf das alles ablegen. He needs to put it all aside. Und abgeben sich auf auslernen und noch zu tun die Minhage Medina. He also needs to put everything aside and go and learn all the behaviors of that country. Die Minhag Medina nachlaufen, go run after the Einweihung von der Medina, the way they behave in that country. Und so weiter. Auf dem sagt man ihm, on this they say to him, no, nein. Auf was darf sich weggeben? Auf dem Vayivka b'makom. What does he need to do when he comes to the place? He needs to stand in the place, he needs to daven. Adarab, darf sich nehmen zum Vayivka b'makom. Now he needs to arrive to the place and daven noch mehr wie früher, more than before. Warum sein ganzer friedliche avoid, his whole previous avoid when he was sitting in the Earl of Torah doing Torah and mitzvahs, Was hat sich eise gewen in Teure, which he was doing Teure, mitzvahs and tefillah and davening, is nicht genug far sein itzige matzav. It's not enough for his his situation now. Was geht der Reis in Welt, which is going out in the world, in Isyoines, in tests, welche seine nicht better größer von die Friediker, which are not incomparable to the previous tests that he had. Und darf beten, dem Oibersh, he has to ask from Hashem, soll sein, that he should stand in his test and he should overcome his test. B'shas Yaakov is given. When Yaakov was auf dem Weg kein Choron, when he was on his way to Choron, der erzählt uns weiter die Teure. Teure says to us later on, Vayikach ma'avnei amokim, he took from the rocks of the place, V'yasim it shesov, and he put it under his head, Taich Rashi, Ash'an kemin marzev saviv leroishe. Shira mepnei chayes rois. He put like a sort of rainbow around his head, a guard around his head, in order that he should not have any chayes rois, bad animals coming to do anything bad to him. Yaakov had gewusst, wohin geht. Yaakov knew where he's going. Und as a filu auf den Weg, and even on the way, nor nicht der geindig zu Choron, not even getting to Choron yet. Gefind sich chayes rois. There's bad animals there, dangerous animals. Der Fahrer hat genommen Steine, therefore he took rocks. Und geringelt die Kopf, and he put it around that. Kedei zu verhiten sich von die Chayes Rois, in order to guard himself from the dangerous animals. In Flug, at first glance, is nicht verstandig. It's not understood. Was Yaakov hat geringelt mit die Steine nor die Kopf allein? Why did Yaakov only circle around his head? Und nicht euch die übrige waren, not also the additional organs, that is his whole body. And now then, hat gedarf gehat betochen. He should have had a betochen in Hashem, trust in Hashem, und verlassen sich auf dem Obersten and leave himself and trust in Hashem that he's going to take care of him. Hat euch die Kopf nicht gedarf herumringeln. He didn't need to circle around his head rocks. Und ob hat nicht gewollt ankommen zu Inyanim Funes, and if he didn't want to come to miracles, why should he not to rely on miracles? Full of Mailam HaTeva, higher than nature. Hat doch gedarf verhiten euch dem Guf mit die Fies. He needed to also guard the rest of his body. Wird man es verstehen, Leute, was steht. We will understand them according to what's written. Yegia kapecha kitucha ashecha v'toivach. And now we're going to explain why I only put it around his head. Because it says when you work with your hand and then you eat, this is a good way. What does it mean? Is there diuk in them? The emphasis is in the yegia kapecha. You have to work with your hand. The horavanya von dein Händlach. The working and occupying with your hands, dafka specifically, is asked by shaftikung in parnasa can sein oif zwei. Working and being involved in getting a parnasa could be in two ways. Number one, yegia kapecha, working with your hand. The cup is frei und liegt in Teure and mitzvahs. Your head is free and it's in Teure and mitzvahs. Und harvet in parnasa nor mit the hand, and he works in for his livelihood only with his hands. Beis yegia reishecha, working with your head, and he's ibegegeben to parnasa oich mitten cup. He's given over to his work also with his head. When das meint, this is what it means. Yegia kapecha, and he works with your hands. Kitocha, and then you will eat. Aber the cup lichtich in Torah, the cup dwelling or sitting and thinking about Torah and avoid and service of Hashem, is ashrecha v'toivlach. It will be good to you. Good is your portion, and it will be good to you. Nit nor in ruchnis, nor euch in gashmis. Not only spiritual will be good for you, but also in gashmis. While the filler lay is chakmus, kliegen sich, this abundance of being out, trying to outsmart and tachbolos of health and garnet, these trickeries and trying to figure out the best way possible with your head to make all the money you can is not going to help. V'yes state, like it says, v'loy lachachman lechem, not to the wise man is bread. V'adrabah, zeh machen noch kalia. V'yes very declared in fila erter. It just makes it worse. It makes it worse and doesn't make it better. You make, like it says in many places. B'shas Yaakov is gegangen kein Choron. B'shas when Yaakov went to Choron, hat gut gewusst, wohin geht. He knew good and well where he's going. Hat gewusst, als wird darfen arbeiten bei Lavan Arami. He knew he's going to have to go and work for Lavan Arami, the trickster. Hat euch gewusst, als fielu auf den Weg seinen schön voran Chayes Reis. He knew that also on the way there's already dangerous animals. Der Fahrer hat genommen. Steiner und rumgeringelte Kopf. Therefore he took rocks and he put it around his head. Als zum Kopf soll keinem nicht zutragen. That is, nobody should come to his head. Die Kopf soll sein beschützt. The cup should be guarded. Und in Tirdes Haderech, from the difficulties of travel, or the Arbeit by Lavan, or by the work or by Lavan, das heißt, the Achana le Parnasa, the preparation for Parnasa, and Parnasa itself. But der Harven nor mit die Hand, he should only work with his hands. Und das ist euch die Heira zu jeder einem. This is also the lesson for every single one. As darf sein, he needs to see. As the cup soll sein beschützt. The cup should be guarded. Und as die cup wird sein, wie es darf zu sein, when the cup, the head will be the way it's supposed to be. Dann schon bemeile euch die Hand mit die Fies sein, wie es darf zu sein. The outcome with that, the hands and the feet will be the way they're supposed to. Eisek a Parnasa wird sein, al pi Shulchan Aruch. His working in Parnasa will be according to Shulchan Aruch. Die Hand werden sein beäufen as nor smiley is doiche. The hands will be in the way that only the left pushes away. Aber Yamin is mekaret, but the right brings closer. Und die Reglaim, the feet, werden sein Ratzis l'davar mitzvah, they will run to do a mitzvah. Mit was hat sich Jakob herumgeringelt und abgezäumt von Welt, als die Welt soll euch ihm nicht peulen, mit Avonim Davke. From what did Yaakov guard himself from the world, in order that the world should not affect him? Mit Avonim Davke, and specifically what? With rocks. Nicht mit kein Seichel, not with intellect, nicht mit kein Heirikish, not with any feelings. Nor mit Avonim, with rocks. Suga Doimim, the inanimate, or the silent, the Rebbe says. Was hat in sich nicht kein Chayes, which does not have any Chayes in it. Und afilu nicht kein Nefesh HaTzemech. It doesn't even have a Nefesh of Tzemech, a soul of the plants, growing things. Mit dem hat sich Yaakov verbunden. With this, Yaakov connected with, and that's what he used to guard his head. The Eirah from them is, what is the lesson? The lesson from this is, as me geht a reis in Welt, you go out to the world, und me will, as die soll nicht peulen, you want it not to affect you. Darf man sich zu erstens verbinden mit Kabbalah Soil. First thing you need Kabbalah Soil, accepting a yoke of Malchus Shemayim Shlema, complete kingship of Hashem. Avonim, which is compared to rocks. Seichel und Herge seinen wenige zu them. Seichel, intellect and feeling is lower. Now, darf sich fühlen wie an Even Doimi. He needs to feel like a rock. A silent rock. Im loy shvisi v'demomosi v'nafshi ka'ofar l'chol. And it would be like a offer to everybody, like dust to everybody, in front of everybody. Adoimim can sich nicht reden allein von Art. A rock cannot move itself, a silent cannot move itself alone. Bis wann emitzer until somebody will come, ihm nehmen and take it, und übertragen or move it von einer zum zweiten, one place to another. Also darf sich fühlen wie a Doimim. So too he has to feel like a silent. An Eved Pasha, simple servant, was der Eibische tragt ihn von einer zum zweiten. The Eibische takes him from one place to another. Und darf sich lassen tragen, and he has to let the Eibische take him. Kedei auszuführen die Kavana von the Shlichus, in order to fulfill the Kavana of the Shlichus. Was der Eibische hat auf ihm a Reif geteilt, which the Eibische put upon him. Der Schar von dem the reward is in this is, wie bein ande Ende von Parsha, like it says at the end of this week's Parsha. Va'even azois asher samtim al tzeva yeh beis elikim, that this rock that I have placed for a matzeva remembrance, yeh beis elikim will be a house for Hashem. Nit ziliber und nit gold, not silver, not gold, nor pshute steine, simple rocks. Noch mehr, even more. Nit kein Steine von Stadt, not the rocks of the city, von besetzter Haus, from a house, nor Steine, was Jakob hat sich gefunden in Mittenweg. These are rocks that Jakob found on the way. Seine geworden Abayis Elikim, he came to a house for Hashem. Durch was, through what? Durch dem, was hat sich herumgeringelt. Mit Steine, through this that he circled around with rocks. Und durch dem, was hat sich verbunden zum Eibishter. Through this that he connected to Hashem. Mit a nether, with a promise. Was there Inyan for nether is, this promise, what's the Inyan of a promise? As Chach mitzad sein will, and even though according to what he wants. Verstand, his understanding, feeling the way he feels, what there does need gitan, he wouldn't have done it. But the nether, the promise helps to swing him, it pushes him. Is durch them, it encourages him. Is durch them, is zugekommen zum Tachas Eilef. Through this, he came to the highest levels. As euch die gewöhnlichste Sach was by him, also the lowest things by him, sein gewöhn a Beis Elikim became a house for Hashem. Und das ist euch an Eira, there's also a lesson. Und a Musar Haskel for Alaman, this is a teaching for all of us. Befrat zu die, was seinen Bauen a Beis Yisrael, for those that are building a house, a Yiddish home, Chasen and Kala. As nicht nur der Sidur und der Chumash, was gefindt sich in Stub, is heilig, not only the Chumash and the Siddur, which finds itself in the home, is holy, nor euch lahavdil, or even more lahavdil, to separate der Goppel, und die Leffel, von Stub darf sein heilig, also the fork and the spoon have to be holy. Durch was, through what? Durch them as the Haschala is, through this, the Haschala, Yivka Makam, he arrives at the place, and David, Bees as niet nor Wachdigkeit, and in davening, not only in weekday and in davening, nor euch afilu in Schlaf. Also, or not only when he's up and he's davening, also when he's sleeping. V'zeh and dort, where he is, Shara Shamayim, the gates of heaven. Them all, where their base, they're in the house, when alles was gefindt sich in him, and then everything that finds itself in the house, Beis Elikim becomes a godly house. For listening.